Hi guys, so today we're going to do a one-to-one with our most longest serving goalkeepers. This is Henry. I'll let Henry quickly introduce himself.
I'm Henry, I'm 16, currently have no team. So you know, if any clubs out there you want me, just feel free.
Yep, pay attention, watch the drills. So Henry's been with me since February 2011 and is still with me today. So we're going to do a simple session today because it's the first one back since we've been back from this coronavirus pandemic. So I hope you enjoy the drills. I'll put links at the bottom as to what the drills are and let's crack on. Like we have never done it again.
Look at that, professional.
Yeah, let's go.
Alright, so just to kick this video off and give a little bit of context just of what we're doing within the session, and most of these sessions that I do with regards to one-to-ones or indeed with small groups of goalkeepers, particularly seniors or goalkeepers getting up towards that age. I'm not a big fan personally of using lots of equipment in terms of things like ladders and hurdles. This was sort of bred into me from my work at Charlton Athletic and when working with the academy and the first team and even also the 23s and 18s. In terms of what we do around the goal, I feel it's really important to try and let the goalkeepers focus on the movements they're going to perform in a match. So most of the stuff you'll see from me when I do my sessions here, and in particular today with Henry, there's very minimal equipment. We've got a rebounder obviously to include another server and the mannequins to imitate bodies. And then everything else is all movements around the goal and things the goalkeeper would be maybe required to do in a match. So you'll see, like I said, very little equipment used. I don't see a great need unless it's an activation or warm-up or a real specific purpose for the use of excess things like hurdles and ladders and bits and pieces. So that's what you'll see. Lots of game-related movements from Henry in this session and lots of different types of saves and activities.
One more, Henry.
Okay, the ground's not that bad.
Good. Right.
For the first part of the session, we were just doing some light activation work. So you can see the drills are based off of the knees. So we're just purely engaging the hands and looking to work through some W's, low saves and mid saves, because they're roughly the range of saves we're going to be doing in this session today.
Last one. Yep. Right, mate, well done. Last one. Good. 2 to go. Yeah. Nice. That was going nice straight to the camera. That. Good. Done. Chill.
For the final part of the activation work, the main aim here was to get Henry up onto his feet and just get a little bit of movement going on and some actions that relate to some cutbacks, because we're going to be looking at those later on. A little bit of twisting of the hips with some movement and again focusing highly on just getting hands on the ball. This is obviously the first session back that we've done since the pandemic. And although it's great to be back on the grass, we'll be so careful with our goalkeepers because we've got a situation where a lot of them haven't trained much over this period. Fortunately for me, Henry has been in a position where he's been doing some stuff in his garden, so he's managed to keep up the contact time to a degree. So hitting the ground on his hips isn't going to be too bad for him in this session. So for this next section, it was all about just getting the feet working a little bit more. So combining footwork and movement around the goal with making saves. So looking to work the combinations, try and keep your form as you move in. We had a lot of this during the solo goalkeeping sessions that we released, where you're trying to work with movements around the goal that are fast, whilst keeping your form, keeping your head still, keeping your hands set, keeping your weight in a good position to be able to make saves. So I hope you can see here, Henry's got this down to quite a good level. Solid handling, good footwork, and he's done really well in this session, given that he's also had time out, and hopefully this can be evident from what you can see. So the next phase, we wanted to bring in a few more game-related movements. So for this particular drill, we're looking at a half cutback turn, obviously using a rebounder for an activation dive, and then from the angle I'm positioned and I'm striking in a ball off the floor. It is a stationary ball, so I'm not moving the ball out of my feet, but as the first session back, we wanted to be really clean with the strikes and make sure that Henry's getting the saves. There's plenty of time to build up with strikes that have got a moving ball and perhaps more realistic shots. For this one, it was really important just to get that feel of the ball back, make sure the shots are hitting the target, and make sure Henry's getting a chance to make those saves.
It was, but you dealt with it.
For the next drill, we're just taking this into a more realistic setting. So now we've got Henry starting on the cutback, and he'll take a imitated cutback save from the side. So as you can see, diving save from the side, then pop up and work into a roll, get a recovery position in and make a save from the angle where, once again, the ball is from a stationary position. It's been struck in at some pace. The main aim of the game here for Henry, which we talked about as we went, is looking at his position, so getting used to where he should be in the goal as he's doing the saves. You can see there that he slightly dropped off more as he did it, so looking to not hold too high a position on the cutback for the shot from the angle, and sit a little bit deeper because you've got bodies in the way, and obviously from an angle you don't need to cut down the angle as much, whereas in a central position, depending on how many bodies are in front of you, you may adapt your position slightly. So for this final section, you can see the first drill that we're doing here. We're trying to work around the goal at a lot more pace and bring it up to 3 saves. So you can see we've got a central volley to begin with, just activate, which is starting off higher up the goal, and then a recovery into a cutback, so imitating dealing with that ball being put across the goal, and then finding the recovery line across the goal to deal with this central strike that is mixed up from stationary balls and also a slight touch out. But the touch out of the strike again is quite limited, because again I wanted to keep with getting shots on target, making sure Henry's getting lots of saves and lots of action that's near the goal. Also, the aim of the shots here, which you can see, and hopefully it's evident, all of the shots are aimed to be kept in and around the body, or the bubble as you call it. So we're looking at the ball being kept in for saves. So nothing was deliberately struck right into the bottom corners. There's plenty of time for that as we come back. And then, like earlier on in the drills, we're just including a little bit of distribution here. So we had some rolling out earlier on. And this final practice, we're including some back passes. So again, you can see the drill is quite similar to before, where we're dealing with a particular way of starting the drill. So you can see we're looking at a back pass and playing through a central area through bodies, looking at a recovery movement into a volley, and then we're picking up the drill again where he goes to a cutback, as you can see. And then from here, deals with the ball back and central strike.
Good, go, go, go. Good tight. Fine. Yeah, go on, mate. Good, yeah, set. Yes, go. Beautiful, up, up, up. Defend the camera. Save. Yes. Go. Good save. That's good. And let's go, recover. Yes. Time. Yes, mate, let's go. Stop that. Time. Yeah, lay off. Stop that. Alright guys, thanks for watching that episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks to Henry for taking part. Lots of drills there. I hope it brought you some value and some good content that you enjoyed. We'll be back with another one-to-one session very soon. Thanks for watching.